It is only when we truly know and understand we have limited time on earth, and we have no way of knowing when our time is up, that we will begin to live each day to the fullest, as if it were the only one we have. "20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. The purpose of life, after all, is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for a newer and richer experience. To those who stay put, the world is but an imaginary place. But to the movers, the makers, and the shakers, the world is all around, an endless invitation. So the only question left to ask yourself is, where should you go now?"
Well, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be around the world. It is Yup Daily and Free Coaching Friday. Your host with the avocado toast, Ali Madawi, Global Master Trainer of the Young Entrepreneur Project. And all that means is that I serve a lot of people in different parts of the world by starting, growing, or scaling their businesses, and or they can build a book of business within our own 9 different brands and multiple verticals in our entrepreneurial community. If this is your very first time, let me know that you are watching and where you are watching from. If this is not your very first time, well, welcome back. I am here to deliver. So here's how Free Coaching Friday works. First and foremost, I share with you some of the recaps of the things that I have personally learned this week, some of the character building moments that I have had this week. So you definitely want to take some key notes and write stuff down. And also you may want to tag and or share in your own personal communities and groups. Any of this information can help you and anyone within your organization. And on top of that, I keep an eye on your comments, on your chats. This is a live interactive session. This does not get repurposed in any podcast or anything like that. And what I will do is I will answer your questions. I will coach you in real time as if you are sitting right next to me. So I am requesting of you to let me know, why aren't you making the money that you want yet? What do you feel is the holdback, the setback? What do you feel like you don't have the confidence? Why do you feel that you don't have, just ask away, and I'm here to serve. I've been very, very blessed. And this year we are gearing up to a 7-figure revenue. And I'd like to share with you some of the ways that we've done it and why, how, where, when. And no, it didn't happen overnight. It took 14 years to build to today. And the first half of the year was somewhat, average, if not sub-average. And the second half of the year just took off to a whole new trajectory. So again, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've learned, but you have to ask and I shall receive. So let me give you some of the things that I have learned this week. First is when it comes to character building days. So when I say character building days, I mean what the average person calls it a bad day. A character building day for me is when something goes wrong, or when something unexpected happens, or where a major twist that you didn't see coming would come. And it happens in life, it happens in business, it happens in relationships. And sure, it happened to us as a company this week. It was just some operational things that we needed to pivot, adjust, that we didn't see happening or we didn't see coming. And we needed to make a real conversation with some of our leaders. And we said, all right, let's do this. It's character over profits. That's what we promise. And we have to just have an honest conversation and let everybody know, hey, here's what we started with, here's where we are, and here's where we're heading. And we need your help to make sure that we have a smooth, continual operation congruent with our core values and yours. And it was uncomfortable. I actually lost sleep over it on Wednesday night, just going over so many different areas, angles, trying to find solutions, right? By the way, there's nothing bad. I'm just sharing with you twists that happen behind the scene that sometimes the field doesn't see. And we sat and we did numbers and we did the math and we did evaluations and we did processes. And next thing you know, we met with 28 of the top producers of the company and we had honest conversations. And it was such a validation that when you do the right thing, the right people will always be there for you. And they were. It was positive. It was interactive. Everybody was putting positive input. There was no pushback in any way, shape, or form. It was all going to the right path. And I loved it. The point being, at times in my young career, I had many situations and scenarios that things were challenging. And I was not strong enough, or I didn't have enough courage to either A, challenge individuals across the spectrum and say character over profit, or I didn't have the leading individuals who are potentially making decisions, do the right thing, and I had no choice. So the point being, whether it's personal or whether it is a business, you are to always do the right thing no matter what, and the right people will always show. Those who don't belong, they just won't belong, no matter how good or bad things can be. But those who belong will always be there for you. So just keep in mind character over profit, and eventually things fall right where they may. All right, let's get to these questions in here. Hello from Sweden. Good question. Aren't you making money? You should earn. That's the topic that would be great to chat about. Aren't you making money? You should earn. If you can reconstruct your question, I'm not understanding, or if that's just a statement, but I would love to come back to you if you can just reconstruct that question for me. Character over habits. All right. I meant profits, not habits. Good morning, Kelly Block. Shelly, question. After building relationship, what do you do to get people to hear you? So, and I'm assuming you're talking to hear about your business, right, Shelly? So if that's what you're asking, so the heartbeat of a transaction, whether it's a personal, business, financial, whatever it may be, is a relationship. And there's this metered spectrum, right? From one, we just met, 10, we are best friends, and then there's a lot of steps in between to get from we just met to best friends. So for me personally, the very first thing that I want to achieve and establish is a solid foundation to that relationship. So when you say establish relationship, I'm not sure if you're saying we just met and we had a little bit of rapport building, or we are best friends. If we just met and had a little bit of rapport building, I don't talk about my business. Rather, I ask the individual to have a meet and greet just so I can learn about them and their professional background. So I always make it about the person I'm talking to, not about me and or my business. And here is why. By default, when you are doing this, what ends up happening, you have that individual that is excited to get on a Zoom because they never had anybody who wanted to listen to them. So you have someone that is open to meet with you and build relationships, right? So that takes the 1 to a 2 or maybe a 3 of a bonding and getting that relationship a lot stronger and a lot better. Once you do have that person on a meet and greet, again, me personally, this is what I do. There's a million ways to $1 million, and this is my way. I personally would ask the individual specific questions such as, so what motivated you to meet with me today? And I just take notes. And what do you do for business? Or are you a hopeful entrepreneur? And I write it down. And what are some of the areas that you want to grow? Or what are the next milestones that you are looking forward to achieving? Oh, I'm looking forward to achieve XYZ. They tell me, I write it down. And what's stopping you from having those milestones happen right now? I write it down. See, what I'm doing is I'm actually showing interest in them. But at the same time, I am pre-qualifying the person that I'm talking to if they, even are a good candidate for my business, and B, what offer am I going to talk to them about? Because once I identify what is the pain point that you have and what is the goal that you want to achieve, I'm going to ask you the following question. And if you were to find this solution to this problem to get to this goal, how much would you invest on it? I mean, is that something that you've ever thought about? And I hear the person that would say sometimes 100, 1,000, 5,000, depending on who you're talking to, right? Based on that dollar amount, I know what they want. I know what they're struggling with. I know their ultimate goal, and I know what their budget is. So therefore, I already know if what I have meets what they need, because I'm not talking to you about a business that you don't qualify for. So then I know what I have is going to help you. I know you can afford it. Then I would say something like, well, listen, I don't know if this means anything to you, but based on what you've shared with me, I belong to an entrepreneurial community that provides exactly those solutions, which have helped many people who have gone through the same struggle that you just shared with me. And some of them got to these specific results. And the best part is it costs less than what you wanted to spend. If you're open to it, I'd love to give you some more information. See, it's a yes, 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 4 times across the board. There's no reason for that person because I did not say, give me your credit card. I said, if it makes sense for you, I'd love to give you access to this information. And when I do so, I just add them to a group. I tag them into a video. If they don't want to be part of the group, which would happen very rarely, but it would happen, I give them the recorded video. Once they watch that video, or even before they finish watching the video, I send them this message. And here's what it says. Hey, Shelly, while you are watching this video, remember I said it helped a few individuals to get to those goals with the same exact struggle you've had? I'm going to connect you with 1 or 2 of them just so they can give you some perspective and insights on how this community have helped them out. That's my 3-way call. So now those 1 or 2 individuals, they can just do testimonials, or it could be a leader that's helping me validate my information. And those individuals will close business for me. This is what I do, and this is what works for me, and it has worked for me. We're positioning ourselves now to do 5 to 6 figures every single month. And I've done it consecutively the same exact way, specifically for the last 2.5 years. I hope that sets up the way of moving forward for you. So again, I know I threw a lot at you. The good news, this is recorded, so you can go back and watch it and then write down the different ways that I've shared with you. So I hope that helped you out, Shelly. Who else is ready to get the love from Uncle Ali? Because, man, I am ready to give right now. You just got to ask away. And by the way, that's such a powerful question that Shelly just asked, because a lot of people are stuck in what we call the friend zone. The friend zone is when you are just building relationships and building relationships and building relationships, and you're like, are we there yet? Should I ask? Should I ask? Should I talk about business? Me personally, I prefer to set up the foundation from day one and invite a meet and greet to learn more about you and your professional background. See, build little rapport. I'm asking for a business meeting. That's literally what it's going to be. And if you decline that business meeting, guess what happens? I will default back to relationship building. But I'm not in the friend zone. I already know that you're not ready for me. I'm not the one who's not sure if I'm ready for you. And that's totally okay. So, that's a good point. Thank you for the information. We'll watch the replay. Good. Make sure you do so. Any other questions? Like I said, why aren't you making money? What do you feel you're struggling with? What is the holdup? How do you do anything that you want to fill in the blank? Just drop them in the comments and I will get you back. By the way, tonight and tomorrow, I'm going to be in Times Square with my beautiful bride. We're celebrating our anniversary. I know it was Wednesday, but we're celebrating the weekend because we have responsibilities to you. We work hard for you all week. But next weekend, we're going to be in Clearwater, Florida for our Success Driven event. Success Driven event. It's going to be an incredible Saturday, fully loaded, all things that we do in our entrepreneurial community. And we're going to be training, teaching, educating from the financial vertical to the entrepreneurial vertical to the branding vertical, anything and everything that you've ever wanted. And I'll drop the link for you, or you can just DM me if you want the link for the registration to that. And then, gosh, after that, it's Phoenix. After that, it's Bahamas. After that, it's Tampa. After that, we're going to be traveling a lot, and I hope that I see you in any of these events. Weenie from Sydney, Australia. How about you, Ali? How long do you stay in the friend zone? So I'm okay with being in the friend zone for a lifetime, as long as it is a genuine friendship and not just synthetic. Meaning, if you're not truly, like, I take the word friend, brother, bro, like very, very seriously. Like when somebody calls me like, hey man, you're my brother and I appreciate you. I'm like, man, that means the world to me that you elevated me to a brother status. Like I take it very, very seriously. Like one of my pet peeves and when people say like, how you doing, bro? And I usually answer, I'm like, do we know each other? No, we just connected on Facebook. You call me bro. Only my real bros call me bro. So I was just wondering, how do you see that relationship? Because it's a serious matter for me. Like I don't do synthetic fake relationships. It's either real or it's got to go. So for me personally, I'm okay with being on the friend zone after that meet and greet. And I'll always check on the person, like genuinely happy birthdays, happy holidays. And there's a holiday once a month in the United States at least. So I'm always interacting with those individuals. And what would usually happen, the individual himself or herself, because of the nature of the relationship, they would say things like, how have you been? And it gives me an opportunity to say, actually, really, really good. We just 10x our business and just expanded to Russia. How about you? See, it gives me an opportunity to drip every time. And sometimes the person like, oh my God, I have a lot of people in Russia. We should talk. Now they're back into business mode. Or good for you, man. I'm really, really happy for you. Yeah, I totally appreciate it. Let's catch up sometime soon. Move on. So I'm okay with the relationship or the friend zone as long as I already opened the possibilities for a meet and greet for business, whether it worked out or didn't. And then I can stay in the friend zone, always dripping, 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 dripping. And through these channels, through the valuable information that we give every single day, we are, it's like an indirect communication with our prospects when we are going live, right? We give indirect value. Whenever somebody likes, comments, shares, DMs us about it, well, now it becomes a direct interaction. Through that direct interaction, we'll touch back on like, hey, let's catch up, or let's have a meet and greet, depending if it's a 1 or a 10 of a relationship. And obviously, we take it from there. I hope that answers your question, Weenie. Really, really good question. You just don't want to start with the friend zone and stay in the friend zone forever. I start with a relationship. Let me tell you this. I use this for life. I use this for my marriage. I have a specific fundamental in relationships. I believe that every relationship starts with friendship and will end with friendship. That is your marriage. That is your business. That is every relationship you may think of. It starts with friendship and it ends with friendship. The beauty of life is that everything happens in the middle, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly, and the great, and the memories, all of it happens in the middle. But I eventually will exit this body in this world to another form, right? And I will say goodbye to my bride one day, as life, it's the physical world that we live in, as her friend. And I'm okay with that. I am at peace with that, right? So make sure you don't just stay in the friend zone throughout. Make sure you do life in the middle, right? And that's whether again personal or business. Make sure you do life with the individual. So I hope that helps you out a little bit. All right. We got another minute and a half. Any final questions on free coaching Friday on anything that you may ask? I'll tell you one last thing while I'm keeping an eye on the chat. One last thing that I have learned this week is I traded 2 times on my own for the very first time. So I'm an old school investor. I dump money on a company or on a symbol on stocks or whatever. I just let it sit there for a while until it's time for it to have an exit strategy and I take it out, right? I never sat and traded, through different symbols and charts, and I just never was my passion, or B, it was never something that I had the luxury of time to sit down through, like a 4-hour trading session. Well, I understand its value, and I understand through obviously our new vertical driven that it is a skill that you must have because when all things may fall apart, you still have the ability to make money with your own money, right? And I want to teach my kids so. And as the global master trainer of our community, how can I not? How can I teach something that I don't learn? So I had to educate myself and raise value for myself and document myself. So first things first that I learned: don't ever invest money that you are planning on getting back. So investing is, and I've always known that, but specifically for trading, because it is a short-term turnaround of your money, positive or negative, right? Earnings or losses. And you're always want to say, okay, this 100 or this 1,000, I don't recommend to start with 100. At least work, make some money and start with $1,000, diversify it. But with that, what I learned is it is still a long-term game, even if it's a quick turnaround of these trades, right? That was the very first thing. The second thing is you are going to have at the very early stage many, many, many losses before you start seeing some wins. So make sure you start small. Don't start with $10,000 on day one while you don't know what you're doing. And for the last 4 weeks specifically, I had some money in there, and just every 5 minutes that I get, I'll try to follow a signal and whatnot. And then I learned a few things. I would take the time and watch the videos that we have, in our driven universe, the training universe. And I was minus, right, losses 176. And then I turn it around. And today, in just one trade within like 30 minutes, and by the way, any past results do not guarantee any future outcomes. I'm just sharing with you what I've learned. $154. And I was like, man, that's powerful. Like, I just went really on the positive side. And now I'm ready to, get some more gains. I now understand that you have to discipline yourself and also educate yourself. It doesn't matter how much money you have or you can afford to lose. You still have to be educated, not once, but every single day. This is why I love the fact that we have live trading sessions. Like, there's one going on right now as we speak, where people literally sit through, a 2-hour session with some of the 7-figure traders, and they're just educating beside the on-demand platform. So make sure you educate yourself and make sure you have the discipline. So I hope this free coaching Friday gave you some value, and I'm grateful for you that you allowed me to share my lessons for the week, and of course, answer some of the struggles that you may be dealing with. Just make sure you watch the replay, hit the share button, subscribe, give us the love, give us the greatness that you desire as well. And yes, I will have a fabulous time in Times Square. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the stories. It's going to be a fun day. Peace out, everybody.